Okay, so picture this. You're dropped in the middle of nowhere. You've got almost nothing. No tent, no real shelter, just your wits and a bag of supplies you haven't even seen yet. We're going to break down this incredible story of survival, a true test of what a person can endure when pushed to the absolute edge. This is the note our guy, Zalmi, finds after his friends just leave him there. No warning, no prep time, nothing. Just this simple, terrifying message. The challenge has begun. You're completely alone, and you've got to make it for more than 2 full days. I mean, how do you even begin to process something like that? The shock has to be immense. He's in a place he doesn't know, a valley where the weather can turn on you in a second, and the rules of this little game, well, they are as brutal as it gets. Let's be real, this whole setup is deliberately cruel. This isn't just about surviving, it's about starting from absolute zero. They give him a water bottle, but it's empty. If that's not a perfect symbol for his situation, I don't know what is. The potential to survive is there, but he's got to build it all himself. And yep, that empty bottle immediately becomes problem number 1. He sees a river nearby and you'd think, okay, thank goodness. But no, it's a trap. The water might look crystal clear, but it's completely unsafe to drink. One bad decision right here, one sip, and he's going to get sick, which would make an impossible situation even worse. So with the water problem just hanging over his head and the sun starting to dip, he knows the nights are going to be bitterly cold. Protection becomes the next urgent priority. His mission, build a shelter from the ground up, using only what he can find in the forest and in his pack. So he opens up his survival bag, and it's a real roller coaster of emotions. A sleeping bag? That's a huge win. Rope and a saw? Absolutely essential tools. But then, he pulls out the one item he needs for cooking and for boiling water, and discovers a massive problem. You can just feel the air go out of him in that moment. In a situation like this, every single piece of gear is critical. A broken pot isn't just an inconvenience, it's a gut punch. It's a huge setback for his plan to get clean water. But you know what? Despite that major setback, he doesn't quit. He pushes forward. His plan for a shelter is pretty ambitious too. He spends hours with that little saw cutting down logs for a big, tall A-frame structure that could really shield him from the elements. A solid plan for sure, but man, what a ton of work. And then, disaster. After all that exhausting, back-breaking labor, he steps away to get some water, and when he comes back, the whole thing has collapsed. His design was just too tall, too top-heavy. It couldn't even support its own weight. But here's the most important part. What does he do next? He doesn't give up, he learns. This is Survival 101. You adapt or you're done. His second try is totally different. It's lower to the ground, much sturdier, built with a brand new respect for physics. It's not just a shelter anymore. It's a monument to learning from failure. So with a new, stable shelter finally in place, you'd think maybe, just maybe, he could get a little rest. But nope. The wilderness had another test waiting for him, one that was going to push his new home and his own body to the absolute limit. I mean, seriously, what else could happen? He has a shelter, he has a plan, he's probably starting to feel just a tiny bit of control over his situation, but out here, you can never, ever get comfortable. And just like that, the sky opens up, and we're not talking about a little drizzle here. This is a relentless, freezing downpour. All of a sudden, the quality of a shelter isn't just some fun building project. It is the only thing standing between him and a life-threatening situation. This is the real killer out in the wild. As that cold rain soaks through his clothes and the temperature just plummets, the risk of hypothermia becomes incredibly real. His body is losing heat way faster than it can make it. And that is a terrifying place to be when you're miles from any help. But this story isn't just about hardship. It's also about those small moments of pure luck and cleverness that give you just enough hope to keep fighting. In the mental game of survival, these little wins, they become everything. So remember that contaminated river? Well, in an amazing stroke of fortune, Zalmi stumbles on a natural spring, just trickling clean water right out of the mountainside. This changes everything. He finally has a safe, clean source of water, solving his most critical problem. This is how survival completely redefines what treasure is. He finds a bunch of potatoes that have washed up, but nearly all of them are rotten. But hidden in the mess are 2 small edible ones. For a guy who's starving in the wild, This is literally like finding gold. So he puts it all together, and he manages to cook his first real hot meal. The psychological boost from that, eating the rice and fish from his pack, plus the 2 potatoes he found, it's just immense. It's not just about the calories, it's a powerful reminder of civilization. It's a huge victory against the wilderness. The 50 hours are finally ticking down, but finishing the challenge doesn't mean the ordeal is over. As that clock runs out, a whole new challenge begins. The long, uncertain wait for someone to come find him. Just look at these numbers. His team doesn't even get his location until 40 hours in. It then takes them another 21 hours to hike through that rough terrain to actually reach him. So he ends up spending a total of 61 hours out there alone, a full 11 hours after the challenge was supposed to be over. So the reunion is pretty emotional. His friend Mersline finally arrives, totally exhausted from the trek, and he is just blown away by what he sees. He was not expecting to find a fully functional, sturdy shelter. He was expecting to find his friend just barely hanging on. And that brings us right to Zalmi's final thought on the whole thing. It's such a powerful statement about inner strength, about resilience. When he was pushed to the absolute brink, facing failure, hunger, and freezing cold, he didn't just survive. He adapted, he built, and he overcame. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What hidden strengths do we all have, just waiting for a challenge to bring them out?